Asylum Inc. presents Hollow. The artist had sensed the potential within his son from the other side. Why had he cared? What was his motivation? He no longer knew, nor had he ever truly cared. The darkness beyond had spoken, and he had heard its commands. In truth, the artist had forsaken his free will decades ago when, as a small child, he sacrificed his pet rabbit on the cold altar of stone he found out back of his parents' house. As a boy, he had frequented this holy place many times. On many occasions, the boy would awaken from his night's slumber upon the very same altar, having walked out into the woods asleep. The whispers of the unseen things soothed him and gave knowledge far beyond his years. This knowledge came at a price, though, as the boy felt all vestiges of his humanity fall away as his intellect expanded. The artist thought back to these early years as he considered his son and the task set before him. The artist had no earthly cares for the boy. In fact, he no longer even remembered his name. Unsure how he even knew of the boy's existence, the artist could only remember the joys of ripping into his first victim, bathing his hands in bloody gore and entrails, and the promise of countless more victims should he succeed in his assigned task. The artist had spent his time in the inferno, expanding on his craft. This was no punishment for one such as he. This was education. A lot can be learned in the arts of dissection and dismemberment in the afterlife, more so when pain and torture have always been a part of your existence. The artist all but welcomed the horror of the other side and the expanded education he was gaining, but still, he sought a way to finish the task he started so long ago, always nudged forward by the voices of the abyss and their promise of never-ending rewards. The artist needed a way back, to once again bathe in the innards of his subjects and complete his masterpiece. He was given power and purpose and a chance to bridge the gap when his son's ability began to awaken, like a beacon of warmth in a never-ending ocean of Arctic ice. This warmth offered a glimpse of the world left behind. It called out to one and all in the abyss, but only the artist could sense its location and the potential it represented. The connection, thin as it was, still sufficed to bridge the gap between realms, and this bridge only grew stronger with time. A plan was finalized and all the players assembled. The artist was ready and willing to make the necessary sacrifices. At best, the boy would be consumed almost immediately from within by the escaping souls if the artist acted too soon. That is, unless the boy was strengthened, and strengthen he must do for the great old ones had commanded. None within the infernal realm knew what ultimately was at stake, but the artist had a ready and willing army of distractions, all eager to strike when directed. Thoughts and ideas germinated within the artist's consciousness, expanding his wants and desires until he barely recognized himself any longer. Indeed, he had become the instrument of change that was needed. But was it ever what he desired? Fleeting remnants of humanity coursed through his being, but just as quickly as they formed, so too were they vanquished. Instinctively, he knew that the boy held power over the doorway, and there were others that would seek to close it. Decades earlier, the foundations of this great work were laid by others, ensuring a necessary piece of this cosmic puzzle would be at the ready. If the boy was the key, a doorway would be needed to help share in the burden. The psychic and the boy would meet. The great old ones had foreseen it. After all, they had planted the necessary seeds in all those it would require for this chance meeting to occur. The psychic would supply the power the boy needed to create the initial breach. The doorway opened, the psychic would draw the legions of the damned through her instead of the boy, preserving the child for the next phase of the plan. In this lay the weakness and flaw in the grand design. The boy could be reached, swayed, or worse. For the final phase to be completed, the boy must be left to complete his task uninterrupted. He would need protection and solitude. The boy must be saved so the others could wake. The other side could hold the door open permanently with the artist's plan. But for that, time was needed. Deep within the bowels of the earth, things began to stir. To be continued. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this Asylum Inc. presentation.